It can be a bit of a catch-22 situation a lot of the times, especially if you're producing movies at an indie level. You will find that no one is interested in looking at your project unless it has financing. No one is interested in financing your film unless it's packaged properly. You're going to encounter that all the time. The ways around that are bank loans. It's risky, definitely. Making sure that you're filming somewhere that has good tax incentives. Make sure that you're not just accessing the tax incentives, but there isn't a cap on that particular place that's going to affect your budget. So financing can be tricky unless you're someone who understands the idea of, or has relationships in a film office, for instance. Talking to your local film office, whatever state you're living in, whatever country you're living in, and working out how you can get access to the tax incentives or be green lit for that is necessary. You can offset, production costs, location costs, all of that. If you have access to a tax incentive, you can use that as collateral against getting a loan or talking to another investor about investing in your film, sometimes 10 to 15 investors. It's not optimal, but when you're starting out, that's a way to do it. They're still going to want to see some level of packaging, which means not just, oh, I'm talking to Kiefer Sutherland's agent. Kiefer Sutherland has to be attached, and that can take time. So working with a producer, especially as a writer, working with a producer who's already packaged something like that, who does have access to a bank loan or a line of credit that they've already made good on. Have a look at who you're getting your scripts to in that sense. This comes after writing the script. It comes after, polishing the script and having people look at it. You've got to look at the producers closely because they're the ones who are going to be initiating this packaging if you don't already have a manager. So getting someone to read your script is Kristen Bell or Chris Pratt going to read my script? Probably not without a rep. But there are plenty of actors out there who work in a much smaller space who want to work. And it's looking at their reps and their management teams and not just talking to producers, but call reps and say, here's what I have. I'm talking to this producer. We think this would be a great fit for such and such an actor or such and such director to come on board. How do I get them to read it? Come off as someone who's trying to learn, someone who doesn't know anything. And generally you'll find not necessarily managers and agents, but producers, coordinators, people who have a little more information than you. Don't be afraid to ask them the questions and then see what they're looking for. Maybe they'll read your script if you become inquisitive enough. So it's very hard. Film financing is very difficult, and it's become more difficult in the current economic landscape, but there are ways to do it if you leverage your experience, not just with producers, but with your own knowledge of offsetting costs with tax incentives and loans.